Omicron was detected in this city just over 2 months ago, and it's likely that we're close to seeing the end of it, or more accurately, the end of the large numbers. Almost every indicator of what's happening to the Canberra outbreak has good news. Let's look at some of those signs. Here are the cases that we know of since December, and I'm going to compare this with the other ACT outbreak, the Delta strain in August. Omicron hit Canberra fast, but not necessarily hard. At its peak, more than 6,000 Canberrans had the disease in mid-January, but a much lower proportion of those people ended up in hospital. In fact, during the Delta outbreak, hospital patients were 4 times more likely to need intensive care than during this recent outbreak. Now, many people point out not everyone is tested, so how can we know what's happening? Well, there's good news on that front too. The positive test rate is a measure of how widespread the disease is in the community. From the government's limited data, we can see it's falling. This is a sign that there is less asymptomatic disease in this city than there was a month ago. The ACT outbreak has mirrored closely what's happened in New South Wales. And if we use New South Wales modelling, it predicts a return to very low numbers in 4 to 6 weeks' time. The big question is what happens in school communities. These are the cases since mid-January, when we started to use home testing kits as well as laboratory tests. The big fear was that the return of Canberrans from holidays and the return of kids to school would cause a spike in infections. That simply hasn't happened. More school children are getting the disease, but fewer adults are. Now, it's almost silly to make predictions about this uncertain pandemic, but there's definitely more good news than bad news for Canberra. For now, it's fingers crossed that any new variant is weaker and new vaccines are more effective.